Great to see you here. My name is Luc de Koster. I'm founder of the Koster Academy. And in this video, I will talk about some problems that are related to risks. But before we continue, don't forget to click the subscribe button, click the bell button, and every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. So let's have a look. What are the possible problems we can have with risk? Now, first of all, the things that we can know about risk and uncertainty is basically that people don't like uncertainty. Uncertainty, however, is a part of our lives, and we are dealing with it every day. Now, we got used to all those risks around us. We go by car, we walk on foot, we cross the street, we fly, we go on boats, we do all kinds of things that have a certain element of risk. But we are used to them and we accept those risks. On the other hand, when we look at projects and when we see risks there, we don't really like it, but neglecting risks will affect your business case and may lead to enormous losses. Risks are there and we have to do something about them. And that's why risk management is very important. People also tend to hide the truth and present things nicer. But the only thing here is that you are cheating yourself and the others. You're making a too optimistic view of what you are doing, and that may lead to problems. Trying to push away the risks, pretending that they are not there, is not the way to go. Now, there are also over-optimistic estimates that you have. We make the estimates too short because we think we do it faster and we don't take into account all the possible elements. And of course, we can also add too many safety buffers. We put there things we want to be sure that when we give an estimate of time or duration, we want to be sure that we can do the work in that allocated time. We will see later in the last chapter of this course, or when we are talking about critical chain project management, that adding safety buffers is not necessarily a solution. It will make your project less attractive. And on the other hand, when there is too much safety, people tend to postpone the work and their activities. And finally, adding more safety turns into a disaster because people wait too long and then they find out that the work cannot be done on time. Now, when we talk about risk management, they think we are creating risks, but risk management is not about creating risks. Now, typically, people do not want to talk about risks. They don't want to consider them, don't want to think about them, and they try to hide them. Now, sometimes mentioning risk management in a conversation may trigger the expression, why do you add risks? I had this in one of my projects in AT&T where we were moving a network from a customer to a different supplier, from their supplier to our supplier, AT&T. And basically, once we mentioned risk management, the customer immediately reacted, why do you add risk? We told him we don't add risk, but we look at taking measures to avoid or reduce the impact of negative risks. In the case that I'm talking about, we were not looking at opportunities. We were looking at risks. In this case, it meant that there would be some items that or some reasons why a connection could not be finished as promised. Things could be telephone lines or other elements that could have a problem, bad connections, things that we had to investigate. And it was very important to share with the customer what the possibilities are and communicate with the customer very proactively. And if we really didn't have a solution, we had to find alternatives. Like, for example, when we looked at the data lines that would not be available, we tried to find a backup system. For example, at the time, using ISDN telephone lines. One ISDN was 64K. For today, this is really very low, but at the time it was a good solution. Today we also have 4G or 5G or other solutions that we could foresee. Anyway, once we identified possible issues, possible threats to our solution, and sharing them with the customer, we could find a mutual solution. Of course, these things had to be managed, and we had to educate the customer related to risk management, which is not always very easy to do. Now, when we look at risks, we also have what we call some probabilistic aspects. Now, we introduce probability and statistics, and that also may frighten some people when we talk about a duration, a standard deviation, and probabilities. People don't always like that. Just remember how much you liked statistics courses in college or university. I teach statistics. I teach it in some universities. I have some courses, and basically I always see in many cases that a lot of people don't like statistics. Of course, it's not for everybody, but once you are in a managerial or a leadership position, you will see that statistics and probability are things that you have to deal with. Now, risk management deals with probability and probability distributions to estimate the impact of risk. Now, we could find some solution. Project managers found easier solutions to deal with the complexity of risk, and they introduced the PERT and the 3-point estimations. Adding these elements to our projects has proven very good. The results were very satisfying, and it was very interesting to see that these simple methods could help the project manager estimate the effect of risks. Now, today we have other possibilities. We have more complex solutions thanks to computer developments, and we also have Monte Carlo evaluations that we can. Now, we can also combine the expected duration and the standard deviation, which brings us to probabilistic estimates. Now, for example, what we can have when we have an expected duration of a project and a specific standard deviation, we can, for example, estimate what is the probability that a project will be completed in a time less than the expected duration plus one standard deviation. We can also create a complete probabilistic curves or curve that links the duration with the probability or the probability with the duration, and we can make better decisions related to project management. So that was it about risk management, problems related to risks. I hope you liked it. There are a lot of interesting things here that you have to take into account. Anyway, before you finish this video, don't forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell button, and every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.